What is up, my friends? And for one last time in 2025, you are very welcome along to tonight's, well, I guess it's New Year's Eve, late night agenda. Thank you all for coming in, having a chat with me. I'll be here to take you through, well, into the new year. And I hope you've all had a wonderful day so far. Appreciate you being in here with me for a chat. There's loads to go through. And as the title of tonight's stream says, I want a bit of reflection, a little bit of looking forward, a bit of optimism. Kind of tried to figure out what happened in 2025 in a good sense and a bad sense, reflect on it, and then let's look ahead to what's possible and prediction-wise what we might actually achieve this year. Not just, of course, from a footballing sense, but in life. So whatever it is you guys would like to discuss, the floor is yours, and I'm here to respond to it. Let me just get straight into a couple of thank yous as well, because there was a few super chats before I even managed to start tonight that I want to just make sure I get in. Firstly, Bradley Warren, thank you, sir. Said, Happy New Year. Thank you, Craig, Connor, and all the good people in the chat for creating an amazing community. May this year bring kindness to our hearts and respect for each other. Beautiful sentiment to kick off tonight's show, Bradley, and Happy New Year to you as well. I very nearly said Merry Christmas, by the way, to about 20 people today that I've been interacting with on, messages and WhatsApp and stuff like that. I'm still in that Merry Christmas mode. Haven't quite gotten into my head yet that it is actually New Year's Eve. Carl, how are you? Sending love to you and Julie, my friend. Sending love to everybody from my wedding day party. Look at this. Look at this. Happy wedding day party, Carl. Much love to you and your new lady wife to be Julie. Always lovely to see you, bro. Appreciate you dropping in. David as well. Happy New Year. All the best. Same to you, my friend. Mike, how are we, bro? All the way over in the US of A. Member for 27 months. WFM to you all and WFM to you as well, Mike. Happy New Year, Craig, and your family, said Joe, Navy Sergeant. Thank you, Joe, and thank you for your service as well, my friend. Appreciate you and your 4 months with us as a member. And to everybody that is in the chat, I hope you all got some fun tonight. Do let me know what it is you're up to, where you are, and what good or bad things you're getting up to this evening. I will not judge. It's New Year's Eve after all. Hey, Craig. Happy New Year. Thank you for an incredible year. It's been ups and downs. Hope to have a great 2026. You'll never walk alone, Reds, and thank you all. George, always a pleasure, bro, and I wish you nothing but a happy 2026 as well. Adam said, prediction for the left-back situation in the summer. Also, Ordonez really excites me. So, on the Joel Ordonez thing, it really excites me as well, mate. It really, really does, because I think this is one that could make sense for us. For loads of different reasons, the price tag being one of them. And I've been spending a bit of time over the last few days looking into the centre-back situation, seeing what's available. And we got stuck into some of it on the recent edition of the Anfield Agenda podcast. But yeah, so on Joel Ordonez, there was one more centre-back name actually that came up today. And I wanted to just get your take on it because, again, I know nothing about this guy. Anfield Watch posted to say Liverpool scouts have been attending a lot of FC Midfielder games. They're huge admirers of 21-year-old centre-back Ousmane Diaw. Could he be the perfect January signing? So, again, 21 years of age, much like Joel Ordonez, who's playing with Club Brugge. Obviously, this gentleman playing with FC Midtjylland. I know we'd been linked recently with their young attacker as well, who'd had something like 24 goal contributions already this season. And again, I'm not going to sit here and profess to have any type of knowledge on how good, bad, or indifferent this dude is. I know nothing about him. But what I do know is I stand over everything I said about Liverpool needing a centre-back and needing one badly for the rest of the season. Right, let's get into some more comments. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit nervous. First one back. I was sitting here for a few minutes beforehand, and normally I'd say to you I was delayed starting the stream because I was busy, or I was sitting here just taking a couple of deep breaths. First live stream back, feeling a bit nervous, but also happy to be back at it because 3 days off for me from doing live stuff. It was weird, but I'm grateful to be back with you tonight and feeling a bit more clear-headed. So on the left-back situation in the summer, it's going to be interesting, Adam, to see what happens with regards to Robbo. So he's one of the contracted players who are up at the end of the season, obviously, and it hasn't really had much discussion between us. Obviously, we all know the Canade situation. We've discussed that at length. Freddie Woodman is another contract that's out. But Robbo's situation hasn't been one that we've really we've really given much thought to. But right now, what I would say is, I would say, in my opinion anyway, Milos Kerkez is in possession of that left back spot. For now, I've liked the relationships that's been building down the left side of the pitch, and I think he's just going to kick on leaps and bounds from here. Brian, thank you for your kind words in the chat. So I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. So, you know the way sometimes I bite on stuff? Well, most of the time, and I'm not holding my hands up to this because I want to be upfront, most of the time the mods have done their jobs and banned a comment before I read it. And I spoke to a couple of other YouTubers about this, and I spoke to Connor about it as well. And it is that morbid sense of curiosity that often makes me click on an already deleted comment to see what it was. And 90% of the time when you see me bite on one of those comments, that's what's happened. The mod has done a great job, gone in, removed the comment, but my curiosity gets the better of me. So that is my New Year's resolution, is if the mods do their job and delete a comment, then I'm not going to start reading back over them. I'm going to just try and resist the urge and just go ahead and keep cracking on. So yeah, that's my resolution for 2026, is trust the mods and stop being curious about those type of things. Joey, how are you, bro? Happy New Year from a Kildare man. Coffee one day, definitely. Coffee, I can always say yes to. A pint or something, not so much, mate, because I'm not really a drinker. But a coffee, Joey, yes. I'll tell you what, next time I'm heading out towards Kildare Village or anything, my man, maybe we can meet up for a coffee there. I haven't been out there in a while, but I do love that spot. And they've even got one of my favourite chocolate shops now as a pop-up, or I don't know if it's a full-time or a part-time one out there, Sugar Plum Sweetery. I love it. I love their chocolate, and that's in Kildare Village as well as the Adidas store. So, yeah, coffee's on me, mate, if we ever do. Stevie boy, how are we? Happy New Year to you, bro, as well. It's been an absolute pleasure interacting with you, Stevie boy, over the last year or so. And happy 2026 from Australia. You guys would already be ahead of us, right? 2026 in Australia, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, happy New Year to you, my friend. And it's always been a pleasure interacting with you and everybody else. So I spent a lot of time reflecting over the last few days. And, you know, we don't always agree on stuff on here, but if we don't disagree in it, most of the time we can do it in a respectful way, and that always means a lot to me. I've also been reflecting a lot on the first half of this season, and if you can indulge me for a minute, I've been thinking back over a lot of stuff. So, you know, when you're doing this job, a lot of things get thrown at you. Sometimes from people who only pop in occasionally. Sometimes from people who see a clip and want to give an opinion on it. Sometimes it's a regular viewer, and sometimes it's somebody who just wants to be a bit of an asshole. But I've been thinking a lot about the Arne Slot situation, because one of the things that's come up a lot to me lately is this channel should be renamed the anti-Arne Slot agenda and stuff like that. And I've spent a day or two reflecting on my journey with our gaffer and where we're at. And it's been a mad one. It really has been a mad one. And I've been thinking about it. This is how I see my journey with Arne. So when Arne came in and was appointed to the job after Jurgen Klopp, we all knew that was going to be a very difficult task for anybody to come in and do. And then Arne came in, and Jurgen gave him a great welcome, you know, as you would expect from Jurgen being the class act that he is. So Arne came in, and a lot of people were saying he was going to be a sacrificial lamb. He was coming in to be the fall guy after Jurgen. Former players, the likes of Glenn Johnson and a few others, were saying that. And this is the part that a lot of people forget about my journey with Arne, is I wasn't one of those people. I was somebody who said, I like Arne, I trust Arne, I've researched Arne, and I think he's going to do well. So anyway, long story short, Arne comes in, we win the league. A few other things happen that season, ups and downs, but ultimately we win the league, and that's the holy grail for us Liverpool fans. So we celebrate that. Then this season comes around, and at the end of last season, a few things change. The transfer business gets done. But this season, people feel I've been overly critical and over the top on Arne. And I want to just try to explain where I'm at with it. As always, I hope people know that I want the manager to succeed, whomever the manager is. Whether it's Arne, whether it's Jurgen, whether it doesn't matter. I want the Liverpool manager to succeed. But I'm never going to not give you my opinion. And my opinion is always an honest one. So an opinion on a manager, as with a player, it probably evolves and it's up and down. And the low point was obviously Liverpool's run of results that were the worst in 120 odd years. And that had me very, very angry and very confused. But I have no agenda against the manager whatsoever. I want him to succeed. I want him to turn around and do well. But as of yet, I don't feel like I'm at a point where I'm seeing enough of a turnaround on the pitch. But there is one thing I may have been unfair on. And as I said, I have reflected on this, and I don't just reflect on these things to go, attaboy, and give yourself a pat on the back. I have reflected on it, and perhaps I've underestimated or overestimated the importance of him versus the failings of some of the players. So every time we lose a game and we're critical, yes, there's a player or two that we have a thought on. But for me, a lot of the time I focused on the manager and I focused on him being a reason for it. So maybe I do need to reflect on that a little bit as we move forward. But most of what I've said, I feel has been, at least in my opinion, my feelings. Now, I do want to defend one thing. Yesterday I made a video and it was speaking about Aaron Briggs and him being sacked as the set piece coach. And people were wondering how I could somehow link that to Arne throwing somebody under the bus. So I feel it's only right again that I address that. This is how I look at things in life, in a structure, in any structure. In the coaching structure, Arne is at the top of that structure. Arne puts everybody below him, puts them into their roles and allocates them what to do. So for me, if anybody in that structure fails, ultimately failure starts from the top. And Aaron Briggs didn't come into Liverpool Football Club to be a set-piece coach. He was given that role by Arne. And that role was obviously one that was not one that he was specialising in or not one that he was seemingly very capable of doing with much success. So I do feel that for him to have been fired, I don't feel that he was responsible for all of the failures. And like I've said, same when you've heard me moaning before about the club not performing well, I said that starts from the top with FSG. Well, the structure of coaching for me stops and starts with Arne. We can argue over how much of a role he has in signing players or not, but in putting his coaches in place, it's his decision. That's his job. And he put somebody in charge of set pieces that clearly wasn't up to the job. So hence that's the reason why I felt the sacrifice of Aaron Briggs and him losing his job was almost somebody's head had to roll for it, and this was the easiest one to do. So that's how I felt about that situation. And again, I hope I've cleared some of that up for people that maybe thought that I was just looking for any excuse to have a dig at Arne. Isn't the case. I just think that if he was brought in to do that job, then I wouldn't have said anything. But he wasn't. He was given the role to do that job, one that I don't think he was ever really qualified for. And on that, actually, there is something that came to light. Credit to Theo Squires of the Echo for this. So there is one thing around the set piece situation. The guy that Arne did want to bring in couldn't come in. So Theo Squires writes, Arne Slot was seemingly blocked from hiring his first choice as Liverpool set-piece coach after taking over from Jurgen Klopp in the summer of 2024, with Etienne Reinen unable to be hired due to work permit issues. Now that, fair enough. If you have your guy and the guy can't get in for work permit issues or whatever, that is unfortunate. Fair enough on that one. So yeah, just again, try to be balanced on what I'm saying, and I hope people get at least where I'm coming from on it. Now on the playing style, this is where I think more than any other thing around the manager we all have some agreement on. We do agree, I think, a lot of us, that the style is at the least confusing at the minute. But I'm very happy where we are. And results have kind of gone our way as well over the last couple of days. United not beating Wolves. Well, that's given us some breathing room there. Obviously, Chelsea aren't performing very well at the minute. And Enzo Maresca's job is on the line by the looks of it. So now I'm feeling a bit more like, right, we could have the bit between our teeth. Let's chase down Aston Villa. That should be the next target now. If we win against Leeds, I think it's 5 points then to Villa. That should be our next aim. Let's try to chase them down and see where we can go from there. There are some difficult fixtures coming up. We are in a run of games that, we're winning, which is great, but we should be winning. Leeds going to be another one of those I would put in the category of, I think we should win that game, but let's see if we can do it tomorrow. And from there on in, it's about trying to move forward. And I'm going to try my best to be as fair and as balanced as I can around the manager, because that seems to be the one thing that has alienated a lot of people from this channel, or maybe just me in particular. The World of Naturalists said the information about the actual set piece coach having the work permit issue was known in the summer, but people seem to have forgotten that for some reason. Yeah, that's fair enough, but I guess you could also argue there was time to bring somebody in, and there was time to sort something out with regards to a set piece coach. But look, one thing we'll definitely all agree on is we need to improve in that area. Defensively and offensively, we need to be better from set pieces. Riding the Storm, how are you, bro? Said, Craig, here's to a great 2026 to you and your family, mate. I did ask Connor, did you send an email through, mate? And he couldn't see anything. Because I remember we had this discussion a little bit back, and I did ask Connor, was there an email come in, because I was looking out for it, and he hadn't seen anything come in, so unless it's got mixed up or something like that. But I wish you a very happy and prosperous and healthy 2026 as well. So, ladies and gents, the game against Leeds tomorrow, as you know, we're working with our friends at BigUp. And here are my picks for the game tomorrow. But when I leave that on screen, I want to just talk you through something in case you're not sure what BigUp is. Tomorrow is the last day you'll have a chance to get into the 25 grand giveaway. So let me just address the situation and we'll talk through my picks there. So we've joined up with BigUp, which is a community platform where you can add more fun to every Anfield Agenda watch along by playing their exciting new predictions game. It's a sweepstakes game where you can win some fantastic prizes, and there's even a free-to-play option. For every Anfield Agenda watch-along, we'll have a predictions game set up on BigUp for you to play. Either download the BigUp iOS app or head over to bigup.com and select the Anfield Agenda watch-along. You can also scan the QR code there in the bottom corner of the screen. Answer between 2 and 6 of the questions, and that's it. You're all set. The more questions you select, the bigger your potential prize. Choose your entry amount and then decide if you'd like to play the power play or the flex play options. This week, for the first week, we've actually decided to play flex play. In flex play, you can get a selection wrong and still win a prize as long as you make a minimum of 3 selections, where in power play, you've got to get every single selection right. And what I mentioned about now being the perfect time to enter is they're giving away $25,000 just for entries into prediction games. Tomorrow is the last day for those entries. So if you would like to play along, make sure you do go over, and when you make your first entry, they'll also give you $5 or 500 big bucks to play another predictions game or to gift to your favourite content creator, whichever good looking bald Irishman that might be. And as I said, that lucky draw will be taking place very soon. Tomorrow they've extended it because I asked them to. The last day for entries will be our game against Leeds. Every predictions game that you enter counts as one entry into the draw, and best of luck to everybody. It is over 18s only, and I want to make sure that people are aware of that. Now, my BigUp predictions you can see on the screen there now, and this week, well, we've played the flex play option. So we've asked the question, will Hugo Ekitike score a goal? And I've said, yes, he will. Federico Chiesa, will he score a goal or have an assist? We've gone no. Liverpool will lead at half-time. We've said yes, that they will. And there will be under 3 goals in the match. We've said no. So we can afford to get one of them wrong and still win a prize with our predictions. Think you can do better? We'll go across and check it out. And just like I said, I'm not biting on stuff. I'm just going straight into banning the people in the chat who are being, well, shall we say, facetious. Merry 2026 to you. Right, my friends, let's keep going. Joe, Navy Sergeant, how are we again, sir? Happy to you, Craig, or happy all to your team, Craig. Happy New Year to your team. What do you think about Liverpool versus Leeds United? I hope you had a good Christmas with your family. Keep up the amazing work. I had a lovely Christmas, thank you, bro. A lovely, lovely Christmas. Nice and quiet, which is exactly how I like it. Went up and spent it with the in-laws. Yeah, it was lovely. Couldn't have asked for anything better. It was nice and relaxing. No real stresses or dramas. And yeah, plenty of good food as well, which was always nice. Right, I think there's been some memberships gifted I need to say thank you for. Grizzly, thank you, bro, for gifting 10 memberships. That is extremely kind of you, sir. Appreciate that one. Let me keep going here. Josh, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC to you as well, Josh. Appreciate your support, my friend. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Hope you enjoy it. Right, let's keep going. So on the Leeds game, what do we think about the Leeds game, you said, Joe? I hope we go out there and don't want to have that same feeling we had when we left Ellen Road. I often talk about the context of how results in football come about. And if you draw a game that you come from behind on, you leave that stadium and you feel a lot more upbeat, don't you? You feel a lot more positive about it. So Leeds fans, I've no doubt, will have left Ellen Road buzzing that day. And we, of course, were a little bit deflated watching the game, having blown a lead. So I'm expecting us to respond to that tomorrow, and I'm expecting a win, especially with the way the results have gone for us over the last couple of days. As I mentioned, Chelsea not doing very well. That's been a bonus for us. Aston Villa getting beaten by Arsenal, convincingly beaten by Arsenal. So there's a chance now for us to start closing the gap on Villa and opening it up, and that has to start with a win against Leeds. The prediction, I've gone for a 3-1, and again, I'll talk you through my predicted 11 in a moment. Just want to get through a couple more of these memberships. Happy New Year to you, Craig, and your family. Thank you, Gemma. Appreciate you, and thank you so much for being with us for 16 months. Happy New Year, Craig, and to all Reds. Thank you very much. Same to you as well, my mate, and I hope you have a wonderful 2026. To be fair, Wolves are playing well too. Last result was a grind, in my opinion. I don't think Wolves particularly played well in that game against us. I think it's more that we got a bit jittery. Because if you look at the game in two segments, I thought the first 45 minutes against Wolves, I thought we played really, really well. Some of the best football I think we've played this season. It was unfortunately after we conceded from the set piece that things got a little bit jittery, and Wolves, who were almost like playing with house money at this point, because they're expected to go down. The pressure, it's kind of not really there. The pressure is to not be, of course, the worst results team in Premier League history, but I feel like they can almost play with a bit more freedom now and take some more chances. So that game, we should have won, and we did. United drawing with them, well, that made me chuckle a little bit yesterday. I'm not going to lie, I did. I sat here and I had a little chuckle at United, especially with the late goal ruled out for them as well. Because, look, their games you should be winning. And Wolves are statistically not great this season. I do like Rob Edwards, though, as a guy and a coach. He's always come across very well. Frank, how are we, dude? Craig, thank you for the great entertainment over the last year. Onwards and upwards to the next year. Yep, and I hope 2026 is a prosperous, healthy and happy one for all, because there's lots to reflect on, and that's what I wanted to do tonight. Have some reflections on 2025. So let's talk about the good in 2025. League title. And what a celebration that was, and what a time that was. It was so lovely to see these guys be able to really soak up the success at Anfield that they didn't really get during the COVID era title. So it was lovely to see the players be able to celebrate that properly with the fans and their families inside Anfield. The celebrations afterwards was, of course, incredible as well in and around the city. But there were unfortunately a couple of tragic moments in and around that. And of course, there was the incident at the parade as well. And still to this day, I'm extremely grateful, as I'm sure everyone else are, that nobody's lives were lost that day. Then we went on, of course, we had an incredible transfer window, but even summer was tinged with huge tragedy with the passing of Diogo and Andre, and everything that the pain that brought to the dressing room, and of course to their families. And I still think about to this day, and I was watching Sky Sports Sunday Supplement did a top 10 moments of 2025 thing, and they were talking about the thing we've all chatted about quite a bit on here, actually, which was the very surreal environment that some of the players walked into in the dressing room. And there was one really simple thing, I think it was Martin Samuel of the time said, like, let's say that you're Frimpong coming into that dressing room, or Wirtz, or somebody coming in for the first time, even to know when it might be okay to crack a joke, or to have a bit of banter. It was a very strange, difficult time that I'm sure everybody associated with the football club did their best for, and the club were excellent, providing obviously grievance counsellors for staff as well. But there was one other loss that we have to discuss as well, and that was Matt Beard, the LFC ladies coach, a title winning coach. So I just wanted to make sure that Matt wasn't forgotten either in the year where we've had some tremendous highs and, as I've mentioned, some very sad moments as well. So yeah, we can't forget about Matt Beard as well, and may he rest in peace. Would love a pint or two, Craig, even down your end, said Alex. Well, it'd have to be a Diet Coke or so for me, bro. I'm not really a drinker. I'm not a drinker. I'm not really a fan of having a drink, to be honest. It has to be a very, very special occasion for me to really break out a drink. But maybe that time when we meet could just be that, my man. But I appreciate you, Alex. Thank you so much. Trent said, hey, Craig, Chelsea fan here. I want to get a Liverpool kit and I want to know whose kit I should get. Also, home, away, or alternative. Unfortunately, I like them all. Brave man, getting a Liverpool kit as a Chelsea fan. For me, look, it's the green one. The green one for me this year for us is a belter of a kit. I love it. I love the red shirt as well. The goalkeeper shirt is the one that I wear most of the time. The black third goalkeeper shirt. So yeah, for me, I would say one of those two. Yeah, a lot of people like the creamy one. You know, I'm chunky, and chunky people don't really get away with wearing creamy coloured stuff. So, yeah, I would say green or red one. And also, I'd love to know your take on the situation with Enzo Maresca, because he's under a lot of pressure. And be interesting to see if he lasts at Chelsea, because it doesn't look like he will. VI Jokers said, Happy New Year to you too. Let's all fight for a better new year. Yep, fingers crossed. And look, it does start tomorrow. 2026 kicks off for us tomorrow. It is a 5:30 kickoff against Leeds United. And as always here on Anfield Agenda, we'll be live 1 hour and 15 minutes before kickoff for a watch-along, starting at 4:15 p.m. We'll have our match reaction, our player ratings video, and everything else we do on a match day. And I can't wait to get my teeth stuck back into another watch-along. And it felt weird not having enough football over Christmas. It's usually the time we're spoiled for it, but you know, we call it St. Stephen's Day, you guys call it Boxing Day in the UK. It was so weird having one game that day. Yeah, we needed more football. So tomorrow, let the feast begin. And of course the darts as well. Happy New Year to all the mods doing an amazing job. Indeed they are, Joe. They are absolutely wonderful, led by Keane and formerly by Mark as well. And they're two people I do want to single out for a special thank you. All of our moderators are incredible, and without them I would not be able to do what I do here. And they give up their time freely, and they do so with a smile on their face and a great attitude. And like myself and everybody else, we won't always get everything right, but I want to single out Keane and Mark before him for being the two best moderators or chief moderators that I could have asked for. Both of them always open to listening to me when I need to vent, always helpful with forwarding on bits and pieces that I need. And it's important to me that you guys recognise and understand quite how important those guys have been in our development here as a channel. So to Mark and of course to Keane now, thank you so much for all of your help. As well as the rest of the team of mods, of course. Like I said, without the mods, we wouldn't be able to do it. Mr. Asentino, how are you, dude? Member with us for 27 months. Thank you for your support. Why are we dwelling on this? If there is a coaching issue, it's on the head coach. He's the CEO of coaching, Arne out. I'm just trying to not defend my position, Mr. Asentino, because I don't feel like I have to defend that position. But I think I need to try and give some context to people who maybe just think I just like to moan about things. I'm with you. I do believe that a coaching issue stops and starts with the head coach. That's his domain. You know, recruitment issue, that's a transfer committee thing. And how the football club's run, that's an FSG thing. But on the Arne out thing, look, I'm just going to hope things turn around and hope the football starts to become a bit better. It's always great to win, and I've been really enjoying winning games of football. But, you know, I hope we can put a bit of swagger back into our game and start to develop more of an identity and, you know, finish start 2026, but finish the second half of the campaign in a good vein of form. Will, Happy New Year. Craig and all the Anfield Agenda family, we may not always agree, but we all want the same, and that's trophies and success at this great club. That, if I could super glue that to my forehead, mate, for every stream, I would. Because that is it, mate. We don't always have to agree. So one of the biggest things that comes up in comments about me, and you will have seen this on social media, whether you're on Instagram, whether you're on X, whether you're on TikTok, wherever you are, is Anfield Agenda can't stand anybody who doesn't agree with him and he blocks them. They always forget the part where they're an arsehole in that. Because we've disagreed, Will, and I've disagreed with many others, Stu and lots of others, over and over again, and we haven't blocked anyone. What these people refuse to do is acknowledge their own failures. So they won't say, oh, I came in being a smart arse, or I came in just trying to be negative and I didn't add anything to the conversation. That's why they get blocked. But like everybody else in life, when they're telling their stories, they tell the version of events they want to put out, not the version of events that actually happen. Has there been times I've booted out people incorrectly or misread stuff? Sure, absolutely. But 99% of the time, it's because I have a real importance placed on human decency and respect and courteousness. And if you're all those things, we can disagree forever and we'll go back and forth on it. I just don't have time for people to come in to just go, no, you're an asshole and that's all I have to add. They're not helping anyone. They're not adding anything. So what's the point? And hence, I guess, I bring some of that on myself, but I don't regret any of it. And I stand over every one of them because I want people to come in here and know we can disagree. But I think all of us should be respectful of each other. And even in those moments of disagreement, you know, we can do it in a way where maybe we can educate each other. Because I've learned so much this year from you guys as well on a perspective that maybe I hadn't thought of. But I'm not going to get that if you just come in and go, I hate you, you're a fat git. That's not going to help anything, is it? It's not going to help you get a point across. So if you come in and go, look, Craig, I disagree with you on this because X, Y, and Z, let's debate it. Let's talk about it forever. Maybe not forever. Forever. I'm at Anfield tomorrow, Craig, for the Leeds game. Nice. Enjoy. And make sure you bring us 3 points, bro, will you? Because, you know, we need to keep pushing up that league table now. And as I said, we've had some, I don't know if it's fortune or whatever, but those ahead of us have dropped some points. And we have a chance now to capitalise and start to close that gap. What's the best email to send to me? I'd love to give you out my personal one so you could go directly to me, but, you know, I can't do that at the minute. So contact@AnfieldAgenda.com. Not contacts, just contact. CONTACT @AnfieldAgenda.com. That's the one, my man, that will get you to us. Joey, I really empathise with you. I was diagnosed also at 38, having been in care since I was 3. I lost my father and 5 siblings to addiction, but I made it out and changed the story like you. Respect. Proud of you, Joey. Really am, mate. Really proud of you. Yeah, it can be tough at times, bro. And, you know, like I said, I won't always be perfect. I'm going to have plenty of moments where I let myself down and I let the community down. But I'm trying, and I'm always trying to represent you guys well. But I'm so proud to hear that you've turned your own life around. That's incredible, mate. And that story needs to be shared with people because this is a tough time of year for a lot of people. But, you know, it can be the happiest time if we're all surrounded by family, but it can often feel the loneliest time when you're not in the right place. So, you know, remember what Joey has just done, you know, my own story and many others. Keep plugging away. Don't give up on yourself. Somebody loves you. You are loved. You are worthy, and you will have better days ahead. Remember those things into the new year, especially if you're somebody who lives on social media a lot. I try to say this to my own son so many times when he'll come down and he'll talk about something and I'll say, look, son, social media isn't real. You know, what you see people put forward on social media is the best of their lives. Nobody puts forward the tough moments, the financial hardships, the struggles they have with their partners or the disagreements. So remember that. And also, the toxicity on social media isn't real because it's only done online. If you go outside and you meet people, they might not like you, but they're pleasant, or they'll just walk by. So these things are important as well, and I've learned a lot about that over the years myself, is that social media, it isn't real. And what people put and write in social media, it isn't real if it's intended to cause you distress. And usually these people themselves are acting from a place of trauma. Shane. Now, speaking about acting from a place of trauma, Shane's a United fan. Sorry, Shane. Couldn't help myself, bro. I kept the Kerry part out of it, though. Shane. So, Happy New Year. My club is in the gutter and they won't change in 2026 unless we are sold. Glazers out, Ineos out, Amarim out, players out. I'm with you on the Glazers. I've always been with United fans in sympathy of the way the Glazers run that football club. I don't really know enough about Ineos other than they love to cut bonuses and get rid of a load of people. And on the Amarim stuff, again, I spoke earlier on, Shane, about watching a good show on Sky. It was led by Darmasheth, where they had David Ornstein, they had Shabana Hearn, and they had the gentleman from the Times whose name escapes me, Martin, no, not Martin Ziegler, sorry, his name escapes me. And then they had another gentleman from The Guardian, Jonathan Liu. And they were discussing Manchester United, and they were discussing the situation post Alex Ferguson. And the real debate, I guess, is how much of it is institutional at United and how much of it is player or manager driven with regards to the failures. Because at some point, and I think Marcus Rashford maybe made this point, you've got to stick and back somebody for a while. Because there's no denying that there's been failures from top to bottom at Manchester United in the way the recruitment's been done, in the way the money's been wasted, in the way the Glazers have ran the club, the way the stadium has been run down a bit, the way Carrington was run down before it was redone. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out for Ruben Amorim. And because, he's been hit and miss as well. Some of the stuff he said is refreshing because he's honest, but other stuff feels like he's walking himself into trouble. The Detective. Happy New Year to you and the family, mate. Thanks for your great content and willingness to have open debates with different viewpoints. Here's to 500k subscribers in 2026. Do you know what, mate? That's the one thing I don't ever set myself a target on year, is a number of subscribers. I just always want to be somewhat better than the year before. So whether that's 1%, 100%, as long as year on year that graph of Anfield Agenda is slowly trending in the right direction, I'm usually a happy camper. But appreciate you and thank you so much for your kind words on all your interactions throughout the year as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to get through here, and I can't forget about the news because there's been lots of that going on. So, a couple of things that I wanted to draw to your attention. I was reading a piece on the Echo, and they had a list of 7 things that Arne kind of has to prioritise in 2026. And I pulled a couple of them because I thought they'd make for very interesting. And when I say I pulled a couple of them, I don't mean I pulled a couple of the journalists from the Echo. I mean, I'm sure they're all in happy relationships. I pulled a couple of the stories because I wanted to get your take on it. So the first thing that they've said is determine a right back and Wirtz's position. So it said, having been a headache for much of the campaign due to a lack of options, the right-back berth will now offer a different kind of poser for slot, with a straight choice between Jeremy Frimpong and Conor Bradley. It's a contrast to the opposite flank where another summer signing, Milos Kerkez, has clearly edged ahead of Andy Robertson. But where best to deploy the 116 million arrival Florian Wirtz could be Slot's most influential decision. The Germany international has become Liverpool's creative force in recent weeks, and maintaining and building that momentum is now an imperative. So what do we think about that? On the right-hand side, I think it makes for a very interesting debate. So I did say maybe 10 minutes ago that I was going to come back and revisit my predicted 11. And in my predicted 11, I've put both our right-sided fullbacks in it. So my team is Alisson in goal, Bradley at right back, and centre-back pairing of Kanade and Virgil, and then left-back Milos Kerkez. Then I've gone for a 4-2-3-1. So in my 2, I've gone for, I think it was Curtis Jones and Ryan Gravenberch. Then I have Frimpong right side of midfield. I've got Wirtz left side of it and Szoboszlai in the hole behind. And then up top I've got I think Hugo Ekitike, and I can't remember who else I put in this team. So I've already confused myself with one of the players that I've left out. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that I have both the right backs in it, because I really like the moments where they were both on the pitch together in pre-season, and even in the game against Wolves, I think it was, we had little moments where we could see that there is actually a plus to having the two of them on the pitch, because you've got both of them with great engines to get up and on the right side. Bradley isn't really blessed with the pace that Jeremy Frimpong is, so I think at the moment, with us being the walking wounded to some extent, I think you could make a very good argument for both of them to be playing. But who would be your starting right back right now if you were to put somebody just into the right back position? Would you go for Frimpong or would you go for Bradley? So let's get that open as the first poll question. So, who's your starting right back? So we'll say Frimpong and Bradley. I don't know if you guys seen, by the way, Jeremy Frimpong did a good interview with Sky Sports where he kind of opened up, spoke a little bit about Virgil, spoke about the club. He always comes across as such a chill dude and always a really upbeat, positive fella as well. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it, but if you didn't, it's certainly worth your time. Craig O'Clock Dan said, love that setup, speed and stamina. Yeah, that's something that really impressed me. And it did in the summer. I can't remember. Do you remember we played a game? I think it was behind closed doors game. Was it Stoke or somebody like that? And both Frimpong and Bradley played in that game at one point together. And I remember it sticking in my head in pre-season how good they played together in that game, and how I wonder, was that going to be something Arne was going to look to develop this season? Now, unfortunately, for varying degrees of injury, he hasn't really had both of them available to him until now, which he does. So while you guys are voting on that, I'm going to read you out the second piece that I took from the Echo about another one of the things that they think is in Arne's inbox to do for 2026. And this one is revitalise Alexis McAllister. So they say Alexis McAllister's impact last season was such he was rightly named among the best players in the Premier League by his peers. But injury and a lack of sharpness have contributed to a notable downturn in form from the Argentina international this campaign. Salah has recently attempted to kickstart McAllister's season by moving him into a number 10 role, but with minimal change. Determining the quickest way to get the World Cup winner firing is a priority, given a 100% Alexis McAllister can again make a huge difference over the coming months. What do we think about that one as well? Because Connor's brought it up on a few of our podcasts that he's felt disappointed in the performances of Macca this season. And for me, I've always felt like he looks more fatigued than usual this year, Macca. And I know he's come in with a niggling injury concern from the start of the season that took him a bit of catching up. But do you think we're seeing that progression back to his best? Because I still feel he's a little bit off it myself. Frimpong's energy is like the kid that's chugged a bucket of a load of sugar, but he can be chill. The next moment, he's amazing. Yes, his speed of pace over his turn of pace, over 5 yards is incredible. Like, he'd be standing there with a fullback, knock it past him, he's gone, and the cross is in before you know it. That is a really exciting aspect of Frimpong's game, definitely. Joe, Navy Sergeant, says, Craig, thank you for your comment about my service. I did 5 years in the British Navy. Craig, I love your background behind you. Thank you, mate. Well, the background behind us won't be in existence for all that much longer, maybe a few more months, and then we move into the new studio where it'll be more real world background. We're still using green screen stuff, and I still have the ability to use this type of studio should we want to. And on your service, Joe, look, I come from a country that's a neutral country in Ireland, and we do have an army, of course, but we don't have an army in the same way that the UK does, or America does, or other countries do. But what anybody in the armed services does for the sake of safety and the well-being of others is something that will always have my respect, sir. I might not always agree with X war, Y war. You might not agree with it. Others might not agree with it. But I will always say to anybody who gives their life or time of it to service in the police, in the armed forces, as a teacher, as a medical personnel, nothing but respect, because it is the good people like yourselves who keep other people safe, and teachers who educate our children. And that is a huge, huge, huge service that shouldn't go unnoticed and shouldn't go without gratitude. So sincerely, mate, thank you. And anybody who's served in any armed forces anywhere in the world, or in Irish peacekeeping missions for our army, thank you. Because without you, the world wouldn't be the place it is. We wouldn't have some of the freedoms that we have. And at moments like this, I feel very grateful for that safety. You know, I can look out my window now and go outside and not have to worry about it. And it's because of the sacrifice that people made right now and in generations before me. And for that, you will always have my respect, sir. Can't wait for 2025 to be over. This year, other than the title, was god awful, said Mr. A. Centino. And also, my own father-in-law had a career in the military as well, in the Royal Engineers. And he came out. He was discharged. He got shrapnel in his eye and he lost his eye. And I've often spoken to him as well about his time. Some funny stories, especially about the time he was over in the likes of the Lebanon and stuff. And he bought himself a Rolex and a few other interesting things. But always appreciate you, guy. Always appreciate you. Stephen, and you're right, by the way, Acentino. It's been a very mixed 2025, but look, that league title, it was special. It really was. I remember when I was over there, obviously, for a couple of live shows that we were doing. And I was over there for the last day of the season because one of the live shows we were doing corresponded with the final game of the season, and the venue had it on. And I remember driving to the venue and just everywhere I went in Liverpool, every corner I turned around and every road we went down, there was just flags and banners and people walking in all directions to get to wherever it was that they were going to celebrate and party. And I've never really seen that like it since maybe Italian 90 here in Ireland, where it was a similar thing. You couldn't move for, people going out there to celebrate the boys in green. When it being in Liverpool for that day will stick with me forever, because I got to see exactly how football mad the city is. Stephen said, very proud of you and Connor. Been following since the start. Love from everybody in Drogheda. Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate you, mate. Yeah, appreciate you. Thank you for your support, mate. Means a lot. A great start to the new year. A win and a gay signing. Happy New Year, Craig, to you and your family. Thank you, Craig O'Clock Dan. So, I still don't know what to expect transfer-wise, lads. I was reading a piece on Sky before I came on, and even now it still says there's an expectation that Liverpool might fast-track a forward, a midfielder, and an attacker in the window. No names mentioned, no really strong links, and I'm my thoughts. I think whatever else happens, a centre-back in is a bare minimum that has to be done. But yeah, I wouldn't mind a couple of signings, but I'm unsure what to expect in this window. I've done that one. This one. Opinion on Luke the Nuke. Happy New Year. So I was wondering when I watched him playing Rob Cross, and I seen the interaction afterwards, and I wondered, was anybody going to ask me about that when I came on a stream? So here's my take on it. The kid's 18. Remember that. The kid's 18. And I'm not aiming this at one country because everybody's guilty of this. My country as well. Let's not build people up to just squash them at the earliest opportunity. What Luke Littler is doing for the sport of darts is nothing short of phenomenal. That young man is 18 years of age and is already a defending world champion. And you can say that maybe he shouldn't have reacted to some of the booing, and that, yes, people do boo for the underdog. But you know what? I fucking loved it. I loved it. I loved every second of it. I loved he stood there afterwards and said, my fucking house. Not his words exactly, but I'm the champ. This is my stage. You beat me to get to that world title. That's what I took from that moment. I took from that moment a young man who focused on what he needed to do, won his game. Rob Cross was a gentleman, as he always is after the game. Rob Cross, nothing but respect for him. But I like that. I like that bit of needle from Luke. Because you don't get to the top of any profession without having that determination and wanting to give a bit back. And he's a very young man up there, facing people who've been at it for a long time, in front of thousands of people. The only downside about him is he's a United fan, and we can't change that, unfortunately. But my God, what a face of darts, what a role model, and what a great thrower he is as well. So my take on that was good on the young man, and let's not drag the kid down. He's 18 years of age. My God, at 18 years of age, I can tell you I was doing a lot worse in many, many moments, many, many weeks. So enjoy him, because he's a generational talent and has brought more eyes to a sport that I've loved since I was a kid, because my father played a lot of, and I've seen the growth of it over the years, from the Circus Tavern days all the way through to now, and the impact that that young man is having in the sport, and the amount of young people that are taking it up and the eyes that are on it. He should be adored and he should be treasured, because he is the real deal. He is simply incredible. Incredible, and I wish him every success, and I hope he smashes every record, because he's brilliant. But he's a United fan, so there is that. Happy New Year, football fans. Have a lovely 2026. Thank you, my friend, and thank you for 27 months with us. I think Enzo's gone by February, said Trent Shelton. I don't believe he's the only problem, though. Our play and the wing is too poor for Chelsea, in my opinion. Also wishing you Happy New Year, if I didn't say already. Thank you, my man, and right back to you for the Happy New Year. As an outsider, looking at the Chelsea situation, it's the recruitment strategy is one that I think has a lot of people confused and kind of scratching their heads with what the plan is, because you do need, I think, a mixture of good quality youth with a few senior heads around. And Chelsea are going to be a force for years to come. There's no denying that. You just look at what they're bringing up. And I even understand Maresca bringing off Palmer when he did, because he wants to allow, him to build up fitness naturally and not to overburden him again. But something feels like it's gone on behind the scenes at Chelsea. And forgive me if I'm wrong, I want to say it was the Everton game that he came out after when they won and said that it's been the toughest week or the worst week of his career at Chelsea or something like that. And ever since then, it's felt like there's been a target on his back, and that maybe his time there is going to be limited. Dave Sharple said, Craig, I fucked up. I took my kids to football, rugby and basketball. Luke's dad took him to the pub. Do you know, I remember seeing, you've all seen this, the little dartboard that Luke used to have, that it was like basically on the floor, and he was thrown at as a 2 or 3 year old kid, and he was still outscoring me even then. But darts content will be something that you're going to see in 2026 on Anfield Agenda. We have a full dart setup ready to go in the new studio, so you'll be seeing quite how bad I am. And I've ordered myself a dart shirt as well, because you know me, I don't do anything by halves. So what's the most important part about the darts? It's not if you're good or not, it's your name. You got to get the right name, right? So it took me a while, and I've come up with my name. I don't know if I'll tell you now or if I'll wait for the shirt to arrive, but I have come up with my name. So Craig something Houlden. And it isn't too fucking good, Houlden, I can tell you that much, because I wish that was the case. Connor's going to wipe the floor at me because he's much better at darts than I am. Silver Dagger said, Craig, all you've been through and all you're still going through, realise you mean so much to us in this community. You affect each of us. Your sadness is ours. Your happiness is always ours. Happy New Year, bro. Thank you so much, mate. I promised myself tonight I'm not coming in to be a negative deflecting. But the last few days I have been on the floor, rock bottom stuff. And I've not been in a good way. But as always in these situations, I try to regroup. And I put a post into our Discord, and I'd like to kind of share that with you now. As this channel has grown, I started the channel for interaction and human connection, like I've always said. Along with Connor, the podcast, I first of all posted on Twitter, then I wrote articles with Anfield Index, then I did a podcast, then we started our own podcast, then we ended up on here. But the goal of all of it has been community and connection, because I lacked that in my own life, and I was lonely, even though I was lonely because I didn't really socialize much. So as the channel has started to grow, there's always a compromise in each step. And the compromise each time, and I'll give you an example. I used to be on every social media platform. You used to be able to get me on Twitter, Instagram, wherever. Then the hatred got too much, so I had to leave. Now, I'm not saying that hatred was right or wrong. I'm just saying I couldn't deal with it, so I left. So that was a sacrifice that I had to trade off of myself to allow myself to continue to do what I'm doing. But the hardest trade-off has to be to put barriers between me and you. So the email, signing out the emails was another one. And every time I have a time where I need to take a mental health break, I use it as reflection to figure out how I can keep doing what I'm doing. But there's always a compromise. And the compromise is the hardest part, because it takes away the simplicity and the beauty of what I wanted to do from the start, which is be here and available to everyone. To not be, uncontactable, to not be able to come up on the street and say hello to. The beauty of all of this was always that was at its core. I wanted the connection and the human touch, and I wanted to be front and center of all of it, in with you, in the trenches, having the chats, like anybody else in any group. But as things have gone on, unfortunately, I've had to start to put a few barriers up between them, and that breaks my heart, because it goes against everything I want our community to be about, which is caring, open, honesty, no judgment. But unfortunately, as I said, if I am to keep doing it, and God, I want to, because I love this so much, there's some of the trade-offs, and they're hard to do, because each time you take one step further away from the openness of the community, it's another little bit of your heart that's ripped away, because that was it in its purest form. That was what this all started from. Probably made no sense there, and it probably just sounded like I was rabbiting, but that's where my head's been at for the last couple of days. Craig Bone. Happy New Year. It's my 50th today. Nice. Going to the game tomorrow. Got a spare ticket if you're free. I don't think I can quite make it across. But happy 50th. That's awesome. If I hit 50, I'll be the first in 3 generations to hit 50 in my direct lineage. So keep your fingers crossed for me on that one, bro. I'm 44 now, and I'm hoping to see you with that 50 as well. But have a wonderful birthday, and enjoy the game tomorrow. And no doubt we're going to get a victory. And I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful birthday, and Happy New Year to you as well. Josh Brayshaw, I seen this one come in, Josh, and I'm always so humbled and grateful, mate, for support. Hey Craig, wishing you and everyone in the chat a happy and safe New Year. Currently watching on a long and boring 5-hour coach journey up in West Canada. All the best in the new year. Up the Reds. Beautiful country, by the way, Canada. I think I've explained before, a lot of my wife's aunts and uncles emigrated there about 25 years ago. Beautiful place. Can't wait to get back over soon. But Josh, thank you, man. I wish you a happy. There you go, a happy. I wish you a happy, healthy, and prosperous 2026, and I hope that I hope the coach journey goes quick for you, man. I know how monotonous some trips can be when you're on the road that long. So thank you for dropping in, and arrive safely, my man. Joey said 9 years in the infantry out of State Care, Lebanon 2. Wow, Joey, me and you have to have that coffee, mate. We have to. Because, there's so much of our lives that, apart from the military service, which, of course, I didn't do and you did, I'd love to, I'd love to catch up with you. Maybe we can meet in Kildare Village for that coffee at some point, Joey. And again, thank you for your service. Shane said, I'm very lucky to be from Kerry, Craig, and lucky to love GAA, and that my county are so successful, because if I was relying on United, I think I'd end up hating sport. Up the kingdom, 39 and counting. You're certainly in a great sporting county and a beautiful part of the country as well, Shane. So yeah, like you said, if you were relying on United lately, you wouldn't have much to be too happy about, but always a pleasure to be interacting with you, Shane, and I wish you, your family, I would say your fellow United fans, but you in particular, a very happy, because that's the word apparently I'm inventing now, a very happy New Year, man. Thank you as always. But you'll never be as good as the Dubs. You know that deep down though, Shane, right? You do know that. Happy New Year, Craig. Thanks for another great year of content. Harish, my pleasure. It's been it's been crazy to think we're at this now 7-8 years. It's crazy. It's mad how time flies. You know, that Barcelona comeback again, watch along, feels like yesterday still. Right, let's check in on our poll. So we asked, who's your starting right back? It's not too close, but it's close enough. So keep voting away in it if you haven't, and we'll return to it in a while. So we talked a lot about set pieces. Well, our former throw-in coach has said this: Liverpool are always welcome to call me. The only way I wouldn't say yes to Liverpool is if I were already coaching another top Premier League team that's actually a direct competitor. I'm not talking about a team like Brentford. As long as I'm not full-time at another club, as long as my contract gives me the green light, I'd say yes, because currently he is doing some work with Brentford. Of course, with my history with the club, my connection with the fans, and the people who are writing to me every day on social media and thanking me for my time with the team, I'd say yes in most cases. It's been great to be at Brentford. It's really important that my throw-in coaching is really different from club to club. And that's Mr. Gronmark, the guy who Jurgen brought in as our throw-in coach that time, who did actually have some good input. I remember Trent particularly, Trent and Joe Gomez, I think it was, the way that they took throw-ins, even the way that they handled the ball to take them changed. And that was down to that gentleman. Craig Bones had unexpectedly got a ticket. Nice. Always good when good little moments like that come around. DCP said, how do I become a mod for the channel? So that's something that is decided for by the other moderators and the chief moderator. So we have a Discord group, and in the Discord group we have a section of that group that's for moderators and myself. And in there, the moderators discuss suggestions who they'd like to bring on as other moderators. And then they go from there. That's genuinely how it works, my man. It's not a case of me going, I like you, let's blah, blah, blah. It's like everything else, community-based. And if everybody agrees, then, you know, the person becomes a mod. That's how it is. Joe, Navy Sergeant, said, Craig, I was polite for F35B. I looked at surgery for kneecaps and I got a lumbar disease in my spine. I messed up in I am in pain 47 hours every day and night. Doctor now help me out. I'm trying to figure out, I was polite for 435B. I don't know what that means. Excuse me, Joe, if I'm being silly on that one. Yeah, and on the pain thing, man, look, I had nerve pain in my shoulder for 2 months and couldn't cope. There were nights where I was crying in pain, dude. So I can't imagine continued non-stop pain, bro. Oh, you were a pilot. I think somebody said a pilot. Wow. That's incredible. Wow. A pilot, God almighty, that's awesome. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you can't get help medically either. This is something, Joe, that I don't really know anything about, because obviously I'm not aware of the aftercare for anybody who's in the armed forces or former police officers or anything like that, mate. I don't know, but I'm so sorry to hear that you're in pain. that much, man. I really, really hope that you can find a way that gets resolved for you, because you sacrifice for others, mate, and I hope it can be figured out for you. Sorry to hear that, my man. Joe, Happy New Year, Craig. I hope 2026 is a better one for you. Appreciate you, Joe. As always, man, it was a pleasure getting to meet you at one of our shows this year as well. And thank you, Joe, for continuing to pop in and say hello. Josh Gaines said, Craig, I can't believe how quick time flies. Feels like yesterday since we were all on Twitch having a blast. Happy New Year to mods, Craig, Connor, and viewers. I had a laugh earlier on. I was thinking about the summer and all the are we going to sign Isak polls. God, I'd love to count how many of those polls we ran throughout the summer. Will we sign Isak? Do you think we're going to sign Isak? How likely do you think it is we sign Isak now? Quite a bit. So, speaking about bits and pieces, I want to bring this up. Yes, this gentleman here. I've brought him up on a few occasions. We are now at 53% of the goal. So this GoFundMe was set up by Adam's mother, and I'll explain this to you. Adam and Dylan have been selected to represent Team Ireland in the European Championships, which will be held in Serbia next year. They're both twins who are competing in the MMA circuit for a number of years, and to be picked again to represent the country means the world to both of them. Unfortunately, MMA isn't a recognised sport and doesn't get any funding from Sports Ireland, so we're trying to help the twins and their coaches raise the money to get over for Adam to defend his European gold medal. We're over halfway to our target of €3,500. If anybody was going to donate a super chat or something tonight, please pop across and make a donation to that GoFundMe instead. I'll be doing some work here locally as well to try to get them to that target. Any money that has been donated by a super chat, I've already put in anonymously to pass that on. We donated €1,000 for Anfield Agenda as well, and this young man is going to be in the UFC in the future. If you can give him that tiny bit of support, you will see the impact that will have, and he's going to bring home the gold. We'll bring him on for a chat soon so you can get to know him as well, but if you could do that, if at all possible, that would mean the world to me on a personal level, and certainly to him and his family. Right. Smash It said, thank you for super chat, mate. Sorry, your amazing sticker. My back end system that I use doesn't show me the super sticker. It just brings up a description of the super sticker, mate. But thank you so much. Appreciate you. And I'm glad you think I'm amazing, mate. Thank you. If only, could you pass that message on to my wife, and then we'd all be happy. I think it says something good on you that a Chelsea fan enjoys you and your content as much as I do. I just find the whole situation with Liverpool interesting. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you. I've been fortunate that we've had lots of fans dropping it out over the years on the channel. Villa fans, United fans, even City fans who'd be a club that I've been pretty outspoken on. And so I do appreciate your support, mate. Thank you, means a lot. And the whole situation at Liverpool is an intriguing one this season, because even I here as a Liverpool fan couldn't really tell you what way I think the second half of this campaign is going to go for us. I'm still a bit nervy about it, but also there's the potential for it to go really well. Stephen said, I'm really looking forward to when you bring Adam into AA. I was talking to him earlier on, actually. I sent him a message wishing him and his family, a Happy New Year. And he's telling me he's back at his training in the morning. So he trains in the morning, and then he's doing his leaving certificate, which is like the final exams, like the SATs in America. And he's still training. He trains afterwards as well. So we'll get him there. We'll get him to that €3,500 needed so we can go and compete. And then, we'll all be able to say in the future when he's lifting that UFC world title above his head, I remember when we helped that kid, and trust me, he's that zoned in that is a possibility for this young man's future. This one. Heavy Metal D, how are you, bro? Evening, Craig. Did you see what happened in La Liga 1 yesterday? A fight broke out, and I believe, who was your final for the darts? Yours is Searle versus Hood. Well, I'm glad that Mr. Hood is getting his Chinese takeaway. That I'm delighted that that's happening. I can't see it past the two Lukes, to be honest with you. Although, I was very impressed with how Van Geren was dispatched. I usually stay away from putting any money on Gary Anderson because when I do, I seem to jinx him. So this year I've not put a cent on Gary Anderson and he's doing well. And I was very impressed with how he played against Van Geren. But yeah, look, I think it'll be between the two Lukes, and I think it'll be Mr. Littler that retains his world title and takes that £1 million. £1 million. So the tax man would be then standing at the side of the stage going, come on, buddy, come on, pony up. Joe, said Craig, I was a pilot. Sorry for the spelling mistake. I'm dyslexic, so sometimes can't spell. Mate, don't you worry about it. Don't you ever apologise for that, my mate. I've got dyslexic friends. And I just wanted to find out what it was so I could discuss it with you properly, mate. But please don't ever apologise for that. That's all good. Yeah, my wife has an awful case of arsehole syndrome as well. I'm getting brave now because she's in another room, but if that door kicks open soon, your boy's going to scramble to that back door. Right, news. So, John Aldridge has been speaking on Jeremy Frimpong. And by the way, we've got 47 minutes to go until the New Year's here. Well, at least where I am anyway. So this is what Aldridge had to say on Jeremy Frimpong. Frimpong is the only one in our side with blistering pace. Going forward, he did really well against Wolves. We've not really seen him tested much defensively, certainly not at the weekend, but he's come back after injury and set up a couple of goals. He's starting to show us what he can offer. When you go to tricky away games while Salah is out, you can solidify the right-hand side by playing him in front of Conor Bradley or Joe Gomez. He'll overlap and beat his man down the line before getting in the ball like he did for Ryan Gravenberch's goal. It's effective. Once he's past you, you won't catch him. You won't get a lot of goals, but he'll cause a lot of problems for defenders, and he's dynamic, and that's what we lack now. So, take on that one from John Aldridge again. We're kind of talking about the whole Frimpong Bradley right-hand side now with the poll that we have up. Craig, any news on Stephen, because he would be useful for 2026? Stephen, I'm going to need a bit more than just Stephen. Sorry, I don't know who you mean by Stephen. Right, where are we with the poll? Right, still close. So if you haven't voted, please do. We're asking, who is your starting right back, Frimpong or Bradley? Right, let's get into a bit of transfer talk, because we are now hours away from the window opening. And one source has yet again said that Liverpool are in or are front runners for Joel Ordonez. So this piece said Liverpool are currently the front runner to sign Joel Ordonez from Club Brugge during the winter transfer window. So they reckon it could happen this window. Chelsea have withdrawn from negotiations according to this piece, despite the Ecuador international apparently prioritising a move to them at one stage. Inter Milan are reportedly monitoring the player situation at Club Brugge closely. Now, this guy came through at Ecuador from the same club that Pierre Nkapie came through, that Moise Caicedo came through, and who was the other the player that we spoke about that came through there as well? Joel Ordonez, Pierre Nkapie, Moise Caicedo, Pacho, William Pacho. They all came through at Independiente del Valle, and I think this is the kid. So whatever about Mark Gay, and I hope he joins. If we're looking for a young centre-back around 21, I think Joel Ordonez is that guy, and I think he's the one we should be looking at. Price-wise, you're looking at about £30 million. He's already played Champions League football with Club Brugge, as we know. He can speak to Simon Mignolet if he needs it about what life is like at Liverpool. But that is one player that I would like to see us go for in January, particularly as it seems like we want to wait until the summer for Mark Gay. Oh, I think he meant Stefan Bajcetic. I still don't know. But I do know that the club plan to utilise him in the second half of the season. But I've no idea how close to being on the bench or getting minutes he is. He is the big mystery at the moment. So Stephen Warnock has been talking about two Crystal Palace centre-backs that he thinks we should be looking at. And one of them is exactly what Dr. Dan has said here again with Maxence Lacroix. That's what Stephen Warnock has hinted at as well, mate. He said, I think Mark Gay would be a really good replacement What you get from him is leadership and a player who has played on an international level. And he has certainly been an outstanding player for England whenever he's been called up. He's very comfortable on the ball. He's not the tallest, but he uses his physicality to outweigh the lack of height. The way he reads the game is outstanding, and I actually like Maxence Lacroix from Crystal Palace as well. I think he's a sensational player. What he has is an immense pace, and what allows you to do is go man for man with Van Dijk and Lacroix at the back. He has the physicality as well. I think if they were to sign either of those two Crystal Palace centre-backs, they're both brilliant defenders. So we'll ask that as our next poll. Which one of those two would you prefer if you were to go out and sign one from Crystal Palace right now? Let's just see if we can get this poll up to 1,000 votes. So we're about 130 short. If we can get 130 more quick votes on this, we'll ask which centre-back of those two would you like to see brought in, if indeed any. This one, Craig o'clock Dan. Craig, soft kitty Houlden. Oh, it's been a while, hasn't it? Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur. Happy kitty, sleepy kitty, purr, purr, purr. You know what, Craig o'clock Dan? I'm kind of heartbroken, dude, because it's not on Netflix anymore. They removed it. Last day was yesterday. So I don't have my go-to. I used to fall to sleep always watching Big Bang Theory on Netflix. That was playing in the background because I need to have a TV on in the background to go to sleep. And it's no longer on. So I'm heartbroken. I can't believe it. You know, my go-to is not there. It's not on Netflix. And I don't know where it is actually gone. That's your darts name. No, it isn't actually. It isn't. My darts name is a simple one. I'll tell you what it is. And it's Craig the Truth Houlden. That's my darts name. Because apparently I think I'm a boxer from the 1960s. So yeah, Craig the Truth Houlden. That's my dart. Now I don't know what the truth is or what it relates to, but that's what I've decided. So I've even ordered myself a polo shirt with it on the back. Now all I have to do is figure out how to put the sharp pointy things into the roundy thing with the little segments in it. Once I can do that, we're all grand. E4, said Josh. Yes, but on E4, mate, you've got ads, and I can't be doing with ads. So you know what I mean? I don't want to watch it, have an ad, then have another bit, then an ad. So yeah, it's not the same. Watch Young Sheldon. That has that song. Such a good show. Do you know what? I love. Excuse me. I love the show, but I've never watched Young Sheldon. Big Bang Theory every night. Big Sheldon. Young Sheldon, never watched a minute of it. Friday Night Dinner. Love that show. That's a great show. Underrated show, I think. Isn't it on Disney Plus or Prime Video? I don't know, is the honest answer. I don't have Disney Plus. I do have Prime Video, but I don't have a Disney Plus one. What's my New Year's resolution? My New Year's resolution is to trust the moderators and not have the morbid curiosity that has led me into biting on a lot of negative stuff. So a lot of the time when you see me saying, oh look, blah blah said, Craig, you're an asshole, it's because I've clicked on a comment that the moderators have already removed, but I can still see it in the back end if I click on it. So yeah, my resolution for 2026 is to stop second guessing, get rid of that curiosity, trust the moderators that they've known what they're doing, and just ignore it and spend more time focusing on the positive stuff. Have I watched Stranger Things? I haven't, no. It doesn't seem like it's up my street. So if you want to kind of get an idea of what type of stuff I watch, so Landman, love it. Yellowstone, love it. Only Fools and Horses, love it. All the Offices, UK, Australian, US, love. Faulty Towers, love. TV show wise, Sopranos, best show. The Wire, love that. But there are only, I don't know if other people are the same, but there are only so many times that I can, or so many types of shows that I'll rewatch. Some shows I'll watch once from start to finish, love it, never watch it again. And Breaking Bad's one of those shows. I loved Breaking Bad, and I was either lucky enough or stupid enough that I didn't start watching Breaking Bad until it was at the end, and I got to watch it all, binge watch it from start to finish, but I won't watch it again. Whereas other shows, I'll rewatch a million times. Like, I'll rewatch The Sopranos every time. I'll rewatch Only Fools and Horses anytime I pass by it on the TV around. But some shows I just can't bring myself to rewatch, and I've never really figured out why. I thought I'd hate Stranger Things. So, can you give me a watch Blacklist? Oh, I love the main actor in Blacklist. He's incredible. He was in actually the US Office, wasn't he, at the one of the later series? So what is Stranger Things about? Like, can somebody give me a breakdown on what Stranger Things is about? Because I've no idea. Dave says Sons of Anarchy was good. Oh, dude, that was amazing. Loved Sons of Anarchy. That was another one of those shows that I got to watch when it was over, and I got to watch from start to finish. But I was expecting to hate it. That was one of those I watched out of desperation because I had nothing else to watch at the time, and ended up absolutely loving it. Like, love the show. Have I watched Derry Girls? Yes, of course. Yeah, yeah. And Seinfeld, another one I'll rewatch over and over and over again. Watch Nuremberg. So it's a bit dark and it's a bit like, usually when I watch TV, I need to switch off. I need something dumb and something that's, going to do the thinking for me. Did I like Kin? I haven't watched it yet. It's on my watch list. Because from this is how petty I am. Love Hate is one of my favourite shows that was ever on RTE. And I don't want to watch Kin in case I prefer it to Love Hate, because I love hate. I love Hate so much that I don't want to have another Irish gangstery type show that pushes away my love of Love Hate. That is so weird, I know, but that's the truth. Set in the 80s, a girl has powers, breaks out from a lab, and then there's a place called the Upside Down with monsters in it. It's based on Dungeons and Dragons game. Yeah, that is absolutely not something I'd watch. That is so far removed from. Like, I think I told you guys this before. I don't know if it's part of my autism or whatever, but my imagination when I look at things like that goes, not real. Can't watch it. Star Wars, can't watch it. Avatar, couldn't sit and watch it because I just go, that's not real. That's all CGI. My brain just won't let me imagine. So yeah, those type of things are usually not my cup of tea. Um, what have I been watching recently? I watched that. Oh, I still have the new Dave Chappelle and the new Ricky Gervais comedy specials to watch. I'm looking forward to them. I'm your age, Craig. Love Cobra Kai because I'm a big kid. I tried watching Cobra Kai and I found it a bit cringy. Um, yeah, I found it a little bit cringy, but I think I am in the minority on that because most people I know that watched Cobra Kai loved it. Tulsa King is brilliant. Yes, that's Sylvester Stallone, right? In Tulsa King. I've seen that pop up on Paramount Plus, I think it is, but I haven't watched it yet. Happy New Year, Craig. The IT crowd is so funny, said Neil James. Oh, I love the IT crowd. Moz is absolutely hilarious in that. Great show. Mr. A Santino said it's a Paramount show, so they make you buy Paramount Plus to watch it. I get Paramount Plus as part of my Sky subscription, so I would be able to watch it. Same way I watch Landman and stuff like that. Boardwalk Empire, yeah, watched that. Loved it. Silver Surfer, loved it. Anything with Steve Buscemi in it, I usually watch. I thought Boardwalk Empire was incredible. Yeah, so gangsters and stuff, that's right up my street. Boardwalk Empire, even though it's old, that is right up my street. Goodfellas, A Bronx Tale, Casino, Donnie Brasco, that's right up my street. Graham said, if I had a choice, it would be Anderson as our number 6. He's made to position his own for England over the past few months and still only 23. So we've got 1,000 votes. Thank you for that one. And the answer is Frimpong. So 56% of you guys said Frimpong would be your starting right back. R.I.P. Clay Davis. Yeah, I'd seen he died the other day, mate. He was also in the wire, if I remember correctly. Or did he die yesterday? But either way, yes, rest in peace. Right, where are we at? Next poll. One sec. Right, I'm going to ask who you'd sign in January on the centre-back front. I'm not going to put Mark Gay in it because it looks like that's going to be a summer thing for Liverpool if it happens. So I'm going to give you some other options. 1 second. Right, so there we go. Excuse if my spelling on some of these is wrong, by the way. I am shockingly bad with my spelling. I need one more centre-back option that might be realistic in January. Again, I'm not saying Mark Gay isn't, but all the reports suggest that Liverpool plan on waiting till the summer to go for Mark Gay. I hope that's wrong because I'd love him tomorrow. Oh, Slaughterbeck. Is he potential in January? Really, Slaughterbeck? I'm trying to think of ones that are actually realistic for us that may happen. Bastoni ain't gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. Schlotterbeck, I think, goes to Borussia or Bayern Munich. So again, I don't think it's realistic. Jacquet, there's the one. That's the one. That's the one I think could be realistic. Yeah, so there's 4 realistic ones. Look, I'd love Bastoni, I'd love Pacho, I'd love Schlotterbeck, but I don't think they're realistic ones. Bastoni, if he leaves Italy, I think he goes to Barcelona. Schlotterbeck, I think if he leaves Dortmund, he goes to Bayern Munich. And Pacho, I just don't see leaving Paris Saint-Germain because he's probably the best centre-back. So, one of the conversations we had on the latest episode of the Anfield Agenda podcast, which was solely based around transfers, was on the number 6 position. And I'd asked the 2 lads, pick one between Wharton and Anderson. So if you were Richard Hughes, Arne Slot right now, and you had to go out there to try and sign a number 6 to come into Liverpool, would you go for Anderson or would you go for Wharton? I found the chat actually quite interesting between us on that one, on that particular segment. For me, I think Wharton strikes me more as the type of player that we would get. Although, in a weird, I probably think Anderson's a better player. That sounds mad, but I think Wharton's more likely and more possible for us. But I think Anderson could be the player with the higher ceiling, if that makes any sense. But I think Wharton's the more realistic one. Collins from Brentford. He could be one to keep an eye on. I've mentioned him a few times, Rory, and I just don't know again if they're going to want to sell in January. And Collins signed a new deal, or he has 6 years left on his deal. So I think if you go for Nathan Collins, I think it's more likely going to be in the summer. But God, I love him from an Irish perspective and because I actually think he's really good. So yeah, definitely worth keeping an eye on. I think he's a really underrated defender, Nathan Collins. I think people don't give him the credit for how good he actually is. Apparently there are reports that Maresca might resign tonight. Wow. So I'd seen some reports on Sky, Trent Shelton, that said if he didn't get results in January, he could be gone. And then I noticed the next game was against Man City. But he strikes me as the type of character that might well resign, you know. I know managers normally wouldn't resign because, you know, you're giving away a load of dough if you resign. But Maresca does strike me as the type that could go. Yeah, even Sky, I'm looking at it right here now. Keane sent it on to me. Sky Sports News tweeted, Enzo Maresca could decide to resign as Chelsea head coach after a breakdown in relations with key figures at the club. Sky Sports understands. That'll be very interesting. Because a lot of the players that have spoken about being coached by him sing his praises. Like, have really, really good stuff to say about him. Did very well at Leicester, obviously. You know, whatever we think of Chelsea, he's won the Club World Cup. He's won the Conference League, which of course he should have won, but they did. And he's got them right up there challenging for Champions League places. It's, yeah, I'd love to know what has gone on behind the scenes there between him and the board. Maresca was tipped as the next Man City manager. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that quite a few times, actually, that he's very highly regarded there. Steve, how are we, sir? Always lovely to see you, and thank you. 28 months with us as a member. Really appreciate that. Thank you, Steve. And Happy New Year. Craig, Connor, Mods, and community. Right back to you, my friend. I don't know how to pronounce this one. The username, I should say, sir. Sorry. I've watched this channel basically every day for the last few years and thought it was about time I sent a super chat. Happy New Year, mate. Well, thank you for your support. And I just want you and everybody else to know there's never any expectation from us for anyone to send super chats or stuff like that. Obviously, we greatly appreciate when they do, but just, you know, having you watching, commenting, and, you know, being part of our community is always more than enough. So thank you for that, man. Appreciate it. The Replicator said, Chelsea make no sense. Have a top-class midfield and a bang average everywhere else. Well, I think they've got... Palmer's good. I think he's overrated, but I think he's good. It's the additions of João Pedro and Liam Delap. Like, when Liam Delap signed for Chelsea, nothing about me thought that was the right move for him at the time. Would anybody agree with that? I felt like it was a crazy, just a crazy move, and one that I never thought was going to work out for him. Oh, Nassim. Okay. Thank you, Nassim. Much easier for me to know it that way. Appreciate your support, Nassim. Thank you, bro. Really do appreciate you. I like Estevao. Yeah, he looks class. Estevao looks like one of those players that, you know, just glides around the pitch and definitely will get you up off the edge of your seat. You know, we've discussed on a few shows over the last few months that I think we've been sleeping a little bit on some of the South American players. We've missed out on quite a few, and I hope that is one area I think Liverpool's recruitment team can hopefully step up a little bit in the future. Rory said, I got stick online earlier for saying Slot is going in the summer. So, I passed on my information that I was given the other day, but I'm in this really tricky situation because people think I have an agenda and I have this mad desire for a Slot to fail, which I absolutely do not have. Anybody who's watched this channel for a long time knows that, you know, I was a huge supporter when he came in, a huge defender of all the crap thrown at him, saying it was Klopp's title, blah, blah, blah. But this season, I've been very concerned by a lot of things around the way he has us playing and some of the stuff that he said. My information, like I said, and I don't think I'm on my own, I think others have said this, is that Liverpool were absolutely at the point of being very close to removing him. And unless something drastic does happen, which he's, you know, could turn around, he could well be gone in the summer. And as far as I'm aware, nothing there has changed. But the key point to that is if it isn't turned around, and he does have the chance to turn it around, you know, it's going to take something It's going to take something big. We are pushing up that league table now, and that's great. Hopefully we can win tomorrow. Start to close the gap on Villa to get closer to that third spot. Champions League, we've got Marseille and Karabag. If we win those 2 games, I think that puts us into one of the top 8 spots and frees up a couple more games that we don't have to play, which will help with fatigue. Hopefully we get some players back from injury as well. But I think anybody who mocks people that have doubts about Slot, I think they're misgiven. Because I think doubts are fair. Stylistically, it's not looking great at the minute, but results are coming the right direction, and that definitely means a lot. But there are things that, I used to like about him that are now kind of making me a bit frustrated by him. But I do, there are some things that are going to dictate the season for us. And I think there are probably 3 main things that I think will dictate how the rest of the season goes for Arne Slot and Liverpool. Number 1, injuries, of course. Same for most teams. If you can stay as injury-free as possible and do some decent business in January, that could put you in a good position. So that's number 1. Number 2 is a situation I've been talking about quite a bit that ain't going to go away, and that is Mohamed Salah. That headache has not been gone yet. And again, every journalist worth their salt writing, talking about this will tell you the same thing. The lads on Sky were talking about it as well. That's a situation that's almost on pause at the minute, because what happens when he comes back? So let's say Liverpool continue to win. Well, is Arne going to then suddenly just go, well then, okay, Salah, you can just go straight back in there and, be damned with the players who've helped us win? Will he be happy with being that bit part, playing 1 and 2 type player? No, he won't. And nothing about me believes that he ever will, because that's what makes Mo. The same thing that makes Ronaldo and Messi. They're the guy. They are the guy. And they want to be the guy. And David Ornstein said that on this year-end review that Liverpool would never put in a contract that a player plays every game. Never. But that doesn't mean a player might not have an expectation that they want to play every game. So I think the situation with Mohamed Salah is going to be a very, very interesting one to see how it pans out. And the third thing, because I did say there was 3, is the Ibrahim Konate contract situation and how quickly that comes to a resolution. You could say that's tied in with part 1, because if you can bring in a centre-back in the transfer window, that takes a bit of pressure off. But we are, at the moment, in best case scenario, an injury away from being up shit creek at centre-back. Worst case scenario, we're going to have Trent's situation replayed all over again, where we've got 6 months of Konate being linked to every club under the sun, and us as Liverpool fans having to endure it, and then trying to examine every movement of Konate. Is his head gone? Is his head turned? Did he make that mistake because of the contract? Is it this? Is it that? So they're the 3 things that I think are the biggest concerns for us for the remainder of the campaign. If you can get Konate sorted out, do some business. Arne has in the past been good at injury prevention. It's one of the things that him and Ruben Peters have been lauded for the time of Feyenoord. That, and let's see how the Salah situation plays out. They're the 3 things that I think will have a big part to play. Now on Salah, I couldn't believe this when Connor sent it to me earlier on. I still don't believe it's actually going to happen. So it's about Salah and an exit. And it says the chances of that exit coming in January remain incredibly slim, but that's not stopping reports from Italy claiming that Roma and their hierarchy are pushing for a potential 6-month loan for Salah. Rome outlet La Repubblica said that the Serie A outfit are toying with the idea of a sensational return for the Egyptian, with work going on behind the scenes to try to make a shock move happen. However, any move is considered a dream given the current 400 grand a week salary the 33-year-old earns, with the Saudi Pro League clubs capable of matching or upping those sorts of numbers. So I don't for one second think he's going to go on loan to Roma, but I am interested to see how this one all pans out in the end, because, David Ornstein said that he truly believes that Liverpool's belief is that they want Salah to stay and that they want, him to be part of the team and part of the group moving forward and to fulfill the contract that, he was given and that they were happy to give. So let's wait and see. I just don't know myself what way it goes. What way do you think it works out? Because it is a tough one. If you keep winning, do you change the structure? If we, play without natural wingers, well then, how does he get in that way? Can we make him a second striker? I would say there's definitely a chance we could do that. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see how it figures out. Calgary Red said, all the best to you in 2026. You and your family watching from Canada. Your sometime mate, love your content. Could you give me a shout out? Well, I absolutely just did, and you are very welcome in Calgary Red, and thank you for your support, mate. Appreciate you. And Happy New Year to you as well. We are 17 minutes away. 17 minutes away now from 2026. Right, where have we been at? What have I missed? This one. Where did you buy your Premier League trophy replica? I bought it on eBay. I bought it from a Chinese company on eBay. So I've got two replicas of the Premier League trophy. The first one is a resin one, which has been chipped and, won't last too long. But it was way more affordable. The metal version that I have now, that was quite expensive, but it came from the same company. And I got it on eBay. Now, I ordered a couple of small bits from this company first just to check out, obviously, the shipping and stuff. But one thing I will say is it was top-notch from start to finish, the process. I ordered the trophy. They took care of all the customs all the way along, paid every little charge that was there, and it was delivered safely, securely, and actually in two pieces because the crown came separately because it screws on. But it was also really expensive. Like, really expensive. I don't want to say it out loud in case my wife's listening, but it was probably too much to spend for a man cave toy. What else I got? I also got a Premier League replica winners medal from them, and I got a resin copy of the Champions League trophy from them, and a few other bits and pieces. But honestly, I don't know the name of the company off the top of my head, but brilliant quality. Trent said, yeah, I agree. I think the Delap signing was not it. I still wish he'd gone for somebody like Osimhen, not just for his quality, but his experience. We're true title contenders with him and an experienced centre-back. Yeah, I think Osimhen would have made way more sense than Delap made for Chelsea. I agree with you on that one, sir. And again, appreciate your input. So, Mr. Devil said, maybe the set-piece coach tricked Slot into believing in him. I'm not sure, but maybe Slot hasn't been the best, but won us the league last year and the team's getting better and better. So let me just take a second to dissect that. The set-piece coach thing, look, we can agree to disagree on who we think's responsible for that, whatever. But the one thing I would say to you is, do you really think the team's getting better? Genuinely, because I don't. I think we've stopped losing games, and I think we've got a few better results. But I, hand on heart, don't really agree with you that we're getting better. Because that's the part I'm waiting for before I'm fully convinced that it is turned back around. So, yeah, respectfully, I don't think we are getting better. Care to chip in with what? What am I chipping in with? I'm sorry, I'm confused. I'm playing catch up. What am I chipping in with? Yeah, sorry, man. I'm not sure what I'm trying to chip in with here. Sorry, I'm a bit confused. Aaron said only 5:42 p.m. here in Texas. Going to get started cracking pints of course. Banquet to end the year. Cheers, brother, and up the Fukin Reds. Thank you, Aaron, man. Much love to you, and enjoy it. Enjoy the new year. And I dare say the weather in Texas is probably a little bit warmer than it is here now, bro. Owen Beck and darts update. Owen Beck, we do have something on Owen Beck actually. 1 second. And darts update? Well, I don't know what the darts update is. I don't know what the update on the darts might be. Sorry. But on Owen Beck, he is returning back from Derby County. Yeah, his loan spell's been ended and he's returning back because he's injured. So that James Pearce confirmed that one the other day, actually. Bradley says, I also think we've been getting better. Cool. Look, there's no denying the results have gotten better, whatever way we want to talk about that, yeah. I do think, like I said, the first half against Wolves was very encouraging. But I also think we need to give context of the run of games that we're in. And that they are games that we were expected to win and we are winning. So we're doing what we should do. I'm very intrigued to see what happens when we take on Marseille away in the Champions League. I think that's going to be an interesting tie. Obviously, Arsenal coming up in the Premier League, that's going to make for give us a good read of where we're at. And I'm very intrigued to see what type of team he puts out for the Barnsley game in the FA Cup as well. Because, you know, we can't really afford to throw away another domestic cup, but we do have some serious injury concerns at the minute. Any update on Barcola? Nothing, not that I'm aware of, mate. No, not that I'm aware of. I think even the Barcola one, I would say, is more a summer one. Right, so one last time, just a reminder as well. I'm going to go through really quickly my picks for tomorrow's game. Don't forget, we're going to be live from 4:15. But if you want to get over to BigUp to be in with your chance to win that $25,000 lucky draw or to play the new predictions game, here's my predictions for it tomorrow. So we've gone for the flex play option, which means I could get one of these wrong and still get a potential payout there of $20.50 or 2,050 big bucks. Hugo Ekitike to score a goal. I've said yes, it's going to happen because I'm continuing to back our boy Hugo. Chiesa to get a goal or an assist. We've said no because I don't think Arne is going to play him. Liverpool to lead at half time. We've said yes. And there will be under 3 goals in the match. We have said no. So if one of those is wrong, we win a prize. If they're all right, we win a prize because we've chosen flex play. Remember, it is 18s only. You can download the BigUp iOS app. Or you can go to bigup.com and we will be doing this along with every Anfield Agenda watch along that you can see on BigUp for the remainder of the season to try and see who's got football knowledge and who hasn't. So let's check out that leaderboard again tomorrow. Yeah, it is over 18s, and thank you to everybody for your support. Craig, honest opinion, do you think Arne will throw away the FA Cup like he did with Palace? I don't think he can. Because let's be honest, winning the league isn't impossible because mathematically it's not impossible, but we have a long way to go to catch up with Arsenal. So that's unlikely at the minute. League Cup's gone, that's out the window. So then you're left with a Champions League. And while I do think there's every chance we can click and get to the Champions, go all the way in the Champions League, I think it's possible. You never say it's a competition that you could feel confident that you're going to win. You know, over the course of a league season, if you can see your teams being consistent, you'll think, yeah, we'll consistently see this out and get it done. But in knockout football, anything's possible. You know, you could have a red card in one game or concede 2 goals all of a sudden and it could be gone past you in the blink of an eye. So I don't think he has the ability to throw away the FA Cup. But I do expect a mixed team, allowing for, of course, the fact we do have a lot of injuries at the minute. Again, I would say, though, make sure there's a strong bench. I've never had a problem with a manager of Liverpool putting out a young, relatively inexperienced or mixed team for a domestic cup game, but I'd always like to see that backed up with quality on the bench, and that was what was lacking for me in the Southampton game. Or the Palace game, excuse me, the Palace game. Carl Bryan, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, my man. Appreciate you. Ian Sherwood, how are we? Happy New Year, everyone. Craig, you're a great dude. Keep up the fight for positivity. It's worth it. Thank you, my man. Yeah, look, I'll keep trying. I'll keep trying. I might not win this battle, bro, but I'll keep trying. Where have we got? 8 minutes to go now, folks. 8 minutes to go. Wow. Craig, I think you can do it. I don't know what it is, but I think I can do it as well. I don't know what it is, but I think I can do it. Unless it's last longer than 5 minutes in the bedroom, in which case, yeah, there's no point in sitting here lying to the great public. I wish that wasn't true, by the way. I really wish that wasn't true. Right, so centre-back vote is still there, and we've got about 20-25 minutes left in tonight's stream. Who would you sign in January? Lacroix, Ordonez, Mingueza, Jacquet, or maybe none? Vote and let me know your thoughts. It's already New Year's in Bangladesh. Happy New Year, mate. Happy New Year to you as well, mate. Appreciate you dropping in, and hope it's a happy and prosperous 2026 for you and your family. Paul, Wingless, how are we, mate? Happy New Year. God bless you. Wish you the best for 2026. And right back at you, Paul. Same to you, mate. I hope you have a wonderful, healthy, and happy year, sir. Jonathan, how are you, my friend? Jonathan said, Happy New Year to you and the family, Craig. Do you think Semenyo would have improved us? Yes, I do. I'm torn on whether long-term it's the right play or not, or would have been. Because I do, we've gone back and forth on this loads of times over the last couple of months. It looks like very likely like he's going to be a Manchester City player. But would he have improved us? Yes. Because I just don't think we have enough attacking options at the minute. The manager doesn't trust Chiesa. That's abundantly obvious. Rio, is a 17-year-old kid that's not ready yet for the first team. And then we've got Salah, who's at the AFCON, coming back, still not know what's going on there. We know that Isak's going to be out for, let's say, 8 to 10 weeks. And then we've got Ekitike and Gakpo, and we've got to make sure that we can spread the workload on Ekitike so he doesn't end up injured. So yeah, I do think he would have improved us. And one of the other big things about the good side of signing somebody like Semenyo is his ability to play on both sides, because he's naturally two-footed. And I also think the price point is fair for a player in his prime with Premier League experience. I think the £65 million release clause is a pretty fair number as well. When are you ending the live? At about midnight. Yeah, about midnight. I promised the missus that I'd finish up at about midnight, and we could watch some recorded Jules Holland hootenanny together. Oh, Dave. Better year in 2026, Scoopy Dink. It's been a while since we talked about a Scoopy Dink, hasn't it? There's been a few phrases, Dave, I've been looking back on that I want to bring back in. There's a couple of things that I haven't used in a while. Heronomics is one that hasn't come out in a while. I feel like I've been lacking on the whoos and the whoop whoops as well. Craig Curious, though, I'm going to keep going with that one. Hugh, how are you, bro? Happy New Year to you as well, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Squeaky Talk Sports said, won't happen, but would love Marmouche in January. Yeah, so would I. Look, I wanted Omar Marmouche when he was available at Frankfurt. Very happy, by the way, we got Ugo from Frankfurt, but I think Omar Marmouche would have suited us more than Manchester City. And I actually think the same applies to the situation with Antoine Semenyo. I think a move to us would have been more suitable to him, or a move to Arsenal even, than Manchester City would and will be. So yeah, I agree with you on Marmouche, but they won't sell to us. Overneath, yes, Mark. I definitely remember Overneath. I still chuckle about that one to this day, Overneath. Marius said, hello, Craig. Happy New Year. It's already New Year here in Denmark. Wish you the best for you and your family in 2026. Personally looking forward to my first ever Liverpool match versus City. Oh, wow. What a game. Enjoy. Happy New Year, firstly, mate. And yes, what a game to get over to. So I managed to achieve a bit of a lifetime bucket list moment this year. So I've been fortunate enough that I've been to I don't know, 30 plus Liverpool games over the years. But I hadn't been over in a few years because of the channel, and obviously my commitments are here. So I got the ability to go to Liverpool Manchester United this year. Brian kindly surprised me with a ticket to the Sevens Lounge for that. And I went over, I did a live show in Liverpool, and we went to the Manchester United game. And my bucket list game didn't go exactly how I wanted. 62, 63 seconds in, Abuomo has the ball in the net and we lose the game 2-1. So yeah, I wish that experience had have gone better from the result perspective. But I've said this to you guys many times. I can't speak highly enough of all of the staff that we encountered at Anfield, from the Sevens Lounge, the hosts, the chef, all of them. Incredible people who looked after us and our guests all so well. And I will, whatever disagreements I have about the club on this or that or whatever, they are incredibly good at their jobs, incredibly welcome and incredibly hospitable. And it was a great day out, apart from the result. So it's mad, by the way, to think that we're all about to celebrate or are celebrating New Year in different parts and times in the world. We are, well, we're nearly there. We're a minute and a bit away now. So yeah. Look, while we're waiting for New Year's to come, let me just say, really quickly to all of you, thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your lives in 2025. Thank you so much for your continued support of the channel. Myself, Connor, it means the world to us. We don't know what 2026 has in store for any of us, but fingers crossed, we hope it leads to more silverware for the Reds. And of course, for me on a personal level, I hope the channel keeps going from strength to strength, because it's allowing me to live my dream. And I want that journey to keep going. So personally, you'll never understand how much you all mean to me. Never. Despite whatever you think it is, it's more. And the appreciation I have for you putting up with me, and I mean that part sincerely when I say putting up with me, because I know I'm not easy at times. That means the world. And I know it means the world to my wife and my kids as well, because they know what joy this brings me. So yeah, thank you for an incredible year. And here's hoping for a happy, because that was my word earlier on, healthy, prosperous, and trophy-laden 2026 for the Reds and for all of us. Oh, and there's the fireworks going off. It is Happy New Year time. Happy New Year. We're there. Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Welcome to 2026. It has arrived. And Harvey's going nuts in the kitchen because he can hear the fireworks going off. But yes, many happy returns to all of you. I'm not going to sing Old Lang Syne or anything like that. I'll leave that for Jules Holland and his orchestra. But yes, Happy New Year to each and every one of you. And I'm honoured that you're spending some of this time with me on here. So thank you for that. And just to give you a little chuckle while we are welcoming in the new year, there's a story from our friends at Fichajes that say Manchester United are ready to pay a €40 million release or €40 million fee to sign Real Madrid right back Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's got so bad that even they at Transfer News Live had to put a disclaimer on it to say, not even we believe this one. So yeah, I think we can safely say that one is not happening. Oh, why did I turn that off? I accidentally turned the button off on my screen for a second. Sorry. Loads of fireworks going off around my way. Someone having a big session. Happy New Year, Craig and the AA community. Thank you. Carl as well said, Happy New Year, brother. All the best for 2026. Keep up the great work. We love the channel. Thank you, my man. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of you. And if you take nothing else from tonight's stream, let it be that I appreciate each and every one of you. And will always try to do my best to make you proud. Oh, I want to mention Anthony Joshua really quick, actually, because I'm sure you're aware, Anthony Joshua over on a holiday in Nigeria was involved in a car crash that unfortunately took two people's lives, two members of Anthony Joshua's team, and left Anthony Joshua in hospital as well, recovering. Heartbreaking to hear, and may those souls rest in peace that passed away, and I wish AJ a speedy recovery as well. Yeah, again, couldn't believe it. I got such a fright when I read it at the time. I read a Sky Sports headline. And you know the way you skimming something when you read it, and I just see the words car crash and dead, and then I see AJ's picture, and my initial fear was, of course, that AJ was dead, and not of course that one life's more or less valuable than another, but just another tragedy, and I wish him a speedy recovery, and may the souls of those that passed away rest in peace. Sorry, I'm confused by something in the chat. Right. Darth Cannabis, how are you, mate? Happy New Year. And same to you, bro. Thank you for 28 months with us as a member as well. Really do appreciate that. Elmir, Happy New Year to you as well, bro. Much love. Wishing you a happy 2026, because apparently that's a new word that my dumb ass has been putting out today. Craig, I'm trying to super chat. My country won't allow it even in Italy. Well, I tell you what, I'll read out that comment, but instead of a super chat, how about you make a small little donation to the GoFundMe there for Adam? But we're trying to get him to defend his European Championships in Serbia. So how about that? Go to that GoFundMe. The link's also in the description. And I'll read out whatever comment you like. You just make a small little donation to that GoFundMe instead. And we'll call that one a win for everybody. Apparently, the Joshua headlines are saying he made a miraculous recovery. I'm not. Look, as I said, I don't like to speculate on any of these type of things because all I know is that he's recovering. I believe he spent the second day in hospital, and I hope he makes that miraculous recovery. I've always been a big AJ fan, and yeah, like I said, another tragedy that unfortunately, tends to happen at this time of year. Uh, Shot by Eve said, Happy New Year, Craig. Thank you for being an integral part of this year. Keep doing you. Wishing you and the AA family nothing but good health from London. Thank you as well, my friend. And wish you a happy, healthy, and prosperous 2026. So here's a weird one. Tudor Sport over in Italy claimed that former Liverpool striker Darwin Núñez is set to leave Al Hilal with Juventus a possible destination. The player's been offered to the Italian side, but his wages would need to be reduced as he earns €20 million a year, well beyond Juve's budget. Wow, so that means he's on what, just shy of €400,000 a week? Not too shabby. Tommy said, I'm surprised by Aston Villa currently being in third place in the table. I think we can catch them up and rein them in. They were on that 11-game winning streak. Then they lost 4-1 to Arsenal. It'll be interesting to see now how they react to that defeat. Right, we'll end the poll. We said, which centre-back would you sign in January? Lacroix, Ordonez, Mingueza or Jacquet? And 42%, just 1% more than Lacroix. 42% of you said you would go for Joel Ordonez of Club Brugge, as would I. Kyle said, have you heard the nonsense that Trent, United are looking for Trent? Yeah, I just read it out there a minute ago, mate. It's crazy, isn't it? Like, there's no way that's true. And there's no way he'd do it either, by the way. No, like Eli said, I think we'll catch Villa. Martinez is such a bozo. We saw it in our match. Look, I think if we can start to rein them in and get into that third place spot, I'll feel a lot more comfortable about, I don't want us to be in a Champions League fight. I want us to be safely tucked into those positions so we can focus on trying to win the Champions League. Just making sure I haven't missed out any major stories, by the way. United also offering 150 million for Jude Bellingham in that same report. Yeah, I can see that happening. Yeah, definitely. I mean, because they have it lying around as well, just to go and sign the player. They do need a midfielder, but wrong part of midfield. Josh Starkey said, Happy New Year, Craig, to you and your family. Much love. Right back at you, my friend. Thank you. Right, ladies and gentlemen, my dog's pretty upset in the kitchen because there's lots of fireworks going off, and I want to make sure I'm going to help my wife calm him down a little bit. So again, a reminder, don't forget to scan the QR code in the bottom corner to come and join us for tomorrow's Big Up Predictions game. It's the last one where when you enter, you will automatically go in to the lucky draw for $25,000. It's over 18s only, and of course, we will be playing the predictions game, each and every Liverpool game throughout the season. We'll be here from 4:15 tomorrow for the watch along. Hope you can join us for it. Fingers crossed we can keep the winning run going. Get 3 points against Leeds. We'll have our match reaction, our player ratings video, and everything else from a match day. Thank you for making my first stream back, which I was nervous coming in to do. A pleasant and enjoyable one. And again, from my family, from Connor and everybody at AA, happy 2026 to all of you. Fingers crossed we can get a winning start tomorrow to the year. Love you all to bits. We'll